Hey, everybody, and welcome in on this Friday to Evolve. You are all up close and personal with me. I'm Kisa, Coach K. And who's my co host today?
I'm Antonio Boswell, but most people call me Boz.
Or Uncle Boz.
Uncle Boz. We'll take Uncle Boz too.
Uncle Boz. Y'all, I have this, we go through seasons in life, Boz. And I will say, that there are certain groups of people that are always impressed upon my heart. And in this particular season, I think about all the entrepreneurs out there who are pivoting, who are making things happen post COVID and all of that great stuff. So I asked him to come today because what many people may not know is that you have a background in corporate America. I hope I'm not telling anything out of
No, over the last couple of years, I've started talking more
Yeah.
about my previous career.
Yeah.
One thing because I've been out of it a certain amount of time, so I can actually talk about it more. So we're good to talk about anything at this point.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, our topic today is on helping you transition successfully from employee to entrepreneur. So, as you come on in, I want to go ahead and say, we know that those of you will be tuning in a little bit later. We want to encourage you to share out the broadcast as you come in or whatever. Whatever. I love how the screen just gives us this random thumbs up, like we're doing something right. Like, yes, promote that. Okay, thank you again. But we want you to share the broadcast out, and as you come in, we know that some of you will tune in a little bit later. No problem about that because we do know it's midday. But first piece of advice that you would give people in transitioning from employee to entrepreneur full time?
I think the most important thing for me was to make sure I was doing the right thing at the right time.
Okay.
Because it's a big move more than anything financially.
Yes.
To go from working at a company or a corporation when you know your hours, and most importantly, you know when that check is gonna come.
Payday.
You know when payday is. You know exactly how much it's going to be, and unless something goes wrong terribly, you know when that money is going to come in. When you're an entrepreneur, it's not exactly like that.
No.
So I think you need to make sure you're making the right decision based on your finances.
Because, and I'm going to be honest with you, and welcome into the show. We want to encourage you to share out the broadcast. We're talking about today, and we are at Filter Coffee Parlor on the South Side. It's our spot. That's the owner right there, kind of working in the background, Mr. Joey. Great coffee. I have my coffee. Boz has his juice, okay? Salted butterscotch, okay? With macadamia nut milk with a little extra light syrup. Come on down and check him out. Filter Coffee Parlor. We're talking about transitioning from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And I still think this is important, Boz, because you talked about a right time. There's a right time to do it. There's a wrong time to do it. Let's talk about this. There's not only a right time to do it and a wrong time. Sorry, right time and wrong time. There's a right way and a wrong way to even function, to not only make the leap, but to even function as an entrepreneur once you step over to that arena. Can you speak on that?
So I think it's important, and it was important for me to know and understand what being an entrepreneur and owning a business is really all about. So for me at that time, it was about what all business is supposed to be about, and that's making money.
Yeah.
I was not going to do it because it was a dream. I wasn't going to do it because anyone else was doing it. I was going to do it because I can make money and make a living doing it. That's why it's called business. If I want to do a hobby, then I could just do a hobby.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So most people know me as a photographer, and photography is only maybe 10% of what I've done in my life, in my career.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But most people know you for that.
Most people in Birmingham,
Wow.
in the circles I'm in now, know me as a photographer, but photography is only it's been what I call one weapon in my arsenal. So media was my thing. Photography was just a small part of that. In my previous career, I never picked up a still camera at all.
Wow.
Video cameras, but not still cameras. Photography was not a part of it. So when I came out of corporate and went into photography, things were different. They were different in terms of the business aspect, the people I was working with, the people I was working for. I had to do everything.
Yeah.
But I did take a lot of things I learned from corporate and put it into what I do in my day-to-day business. Even though I'm a lot smaller, the money is different, the money flows different, the amount of money flows different. I still use things that I learned in corporate to run my business. But I think about what a corporation is.
Mhm.
Corporation is a large business, but all corporations started out small.
They sure did.
So how do they end up big? There are certain processes that they follow, and even though that we're small, we can still follow those processes to make our business work, make our business generate money, make our business generate profit.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about.
That's what
Right.
I keep hearing you say that. I keep hearing you say the profit part because if we're not careful, there are a number of people, and you may have even found yourself in this arena. I did for a while because I ran my business while I was still in corporate America
Mhm.
in my former life.
Mhm.
I would have to say it was a bona fide hobby at that point. Okay. So, what is the litmus test? Because I keep hearing you say it can either be a hobby or it can either be a business. What's the litmus test for making money?
Making money is the test for making money. If you don't make no money, that's the test.
Yeah.
Then you
Okay.
fail.
Okay.
If you're in business, I think we're in a day and age, people use the word business is almost like a cliche.
Sure is.
And if we look at numbers,
Sure is.
about 90% of businesses that start fail. And why is that? Because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to wake up every morning and follow your dream, follow your plan, do what you're supposed to do from the beginning to the end, from the top to the bottom, from the left side to the right side. It's hard. It takes work. It takes knowledge. It takes prayer. It takes help.
Yes.
And even if you have it within yourself, sometimes it's hard to find the help.
Yes.
So the litmus test for any business, the business we're standing in, the businesses that are open across the street,
Yeah.
those two that are closed across the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
The test is making money, and then the greatest test is making profit. Because you can make money, break even, and still survive.
Yeah.
But if you don't make a profit at some point,
Yeah.
you can't survive. So the test is making money. You want to know if you're doing the right thing, whatever the right thing is, look at your bank account. If you're spending time and you're not making money, it's not. That doesn't mean it's a hobby. That means your business is not making money. And what is the definition of business? You can break even, but if you, at some point you don't make a profit, how do you survive?
That's a good point.
If we look at other statistics, so we always see. I love the sounds and smells in here. The sounds and smells are wonderful in here, and they have the best apple juice
And
in the
coffee.
world. Martinelli's are Martinelli's. So when I look at the stats and it says 90% of business fail, I start asking questions. My days of investigation, every answer has another question attached to it.
Okay.
So I have another question. So why do most businesses fail? I did research on that, and it basically said because the people who start the business don't know what they're doing. And I was like, wow, so it's that simple. And the biggest one was restaurants. People start a restaurant and they may know how to cook, but they don't know how to run the restaurant business.
The business of the business.
The business of the business. And let's take it into what most people know me for, photography. There's a difference in being a photographer and running a photography business.
Wow.
So I can take pictures, but do I make money? Do I make
Wow.
a profit from taking pictures? And that's what the business is all about. I feel like that's what we have to remember, because you're going to hit a wall.
Yes.
And when you hit that wall, if you don't have no money to get you off that wall, it's over.
It's over with.
It's done.
It's over with.
You can still have the dream,
Yeah.
but what is the reality of the business?
Of what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is so good because I don't know, maybe I'm out here by myself, but I've been in that cycle where I've been working so hard. I've been doing so many things, and I wanted to call myself boss, and I wanted to say boss lady, boss babe, I'm the CEO. Had some earrings, a CEO on it. Okay, when I really got over into you already know what I'm about to say. When I really got over into being a bona fide business owner and having to depend on the business, the last thing I cared about was whether these earrings say CEO or not. The last thing I cared about still to this day, is whether or not I'm going to hashtag myself boss babe or anything like that. I would rather have the money in the bank. I would rather have the satisfied customers. I'd rather have the contracts rather than trying to prove anything to anybody out there. And sometimes I think that we're so concerned about looking a certain way. We're so concerned about flossing or flexing, whichever the word is,
Both they the same.
Okay, flossing or flexing.
Flossing, flexing, flogging, all of them are the same.
Do you know Pastor Derek Jordan?
I do not.
Hey, Pastor.
What's up, Pastor?
He's the best friend of Doug Taylor, Pastor Doug Taylor.
I went to high school with Doug Taylor.
Oh, yeah. This is Pastor Doug's classmate, Pastor. Pastor, can you give us a thumbs up if you're hearing us okay? Make sure you're hearing us okay. We're doing an audio check out there. The computer. No, that's the computer doing it. This computer has a mind of its own. If hey, we're doing good, Pastor. We're making sure you can hear us okay. If you can hear us okay, can you give us a thumbs up? Okay, good deal. Okay, that's what we wanted to know. We're good. We're rolling. Thank you, Pastor. And we're just talking about business. And Pastor knows a lot about that. Pastor is in terms of being a pastor. And I don't know why I'm associating you with business, Pastor Jordan, but I know that you do have some success in business, but I'm affiliating you with business. I may not know the businesses specifically, but I'm affiliating you with that. And we're just talking about making that transition and making sure that people have wisdom. And, I'm going to go back and tell you, thank you so much, Pastor. I'm so glad and I'm so appreciative of you tuning in today. I will just use my own story as an example in hopes to really help someone. Hey, y'all, I see you coming on in today. Come on in. And we want you to, not asking you to do anything, but share out the broadcast today, okay? We've got Pastor on here. Pastor, we're reading what you're saying. I pastor a ton of entrepreneurs. We call them hempreneurs. Look, Pastor, I need to come on over there and maybe let you pastor me and come hang out over there. I love it. Hempreneurs. I love it. Pastor Derek D. Jordan is here. The Him Hope Everlasting Ministries. So if you're looking for a church home, wonderful church home, wonderful pastor, I'm going to come see you. How about that? That's my promise. I will come see you. He talks about pastoring and coaching entrepreneurs. And I was going somewhere with that whole thought. But I'm a broadcaster, so I can bring it on back around. Here we go. Thank you, Lord. So talking about that fact that there's a right way and a wrong way to launch into business and entrepreneurism. I felt the call to be an entrepreneur years ago. I would say almost 20 years ago. In fact, probably more than 20 years ago. I remember when I got this bug that I'm going to be an entrepreneur and just knew I was going to do it. I ended up leaving. And this is the first time I've ever really shared this in this particular manner. I ended up, a lot of people were wondering what happened to me when I left with ABC 3340. I left ABC 3340 because I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm called to be in business. Deuces. It's time to get
that quickly.
I can't make it may not have been like the thought and move, but it was pretty quick. But I knew then it was the call of God. But here's the deal. It wasn't the right time. I'm being honest. I'm being honest with you. It wasn't the right time. I did it wrong. I left ABC 3340 May 26, 2004. Okay. There's my friend.
So it's your anniversary. What's today?
May 24. It's my 20-year anniversary of leaving ABC 3340. I left with a dream and a vision and a word from God. But how many of you know not only do you need a word from God? Come on now. You laughing at me or you laughing at the dog outside?
I'm laughing at you.
We got all kind of activity going on here. He's laughing at me. But listen, I left with a dream and a vision and a word from God. But guess where we get tripped up? In churchdom and in the kingdom. Lack of instructions and not listening to the instruction.
Yeah.
So I can tell you unequivocally, you may very well have a dream. You may very well have a vision. It may very well be from God. But one of the things that you need to understand, always ask his timing and ask the instructions to go with the dream and the vision. All right. And Pastor, shout out to Pastor Derek Jordan and Hope Everlasting Ministry. They're at 6520 Happy Hollow Road, Trustville, Alabama, if you're looking for a church home. You can go see them. I'm going to see him soon. I've been there before, but I'm going back again because they're my friends. I love him and his first lady. And I was about to say my soror, who is first lady. They're love them. They're my peeps. So that's my personal story. But guess what? I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
So many make that decision
Mhm.
without getting instructions. I knew I needed to be in business.
So that goes back to the stat that I say I found.
Yes.
You know what you're doing.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. And
20 years ago. I did.
Statistics say that most businesses fail is because people don't know what they're doing. So with me, and again, in my media, I studied media at Alabama State, so I felt like I was ready for media, but I didn't know if I was ready to come out on my own and let photography be my main thing.
Okay.
So I didn't do like you guys and say, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what God tells me to do, and just step out and jump out. I had like a sliding scale.
Oh, that's wise.
So I had
Explain the sliding scale.
So I had a sliding scale. My full-time job was here, and my photography was here. Mm-hmm. And over time, it kind of slid. That the full-time was less and less. The photography was more and more.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it was even, and then my thought process changed. And I started to think, okay, can I make enough money with the photography where I can let the full-time corporate go? Because honestly, I was burned out in corporate.
Yeah.
I was burned out in corporate investigations more specifically.
Yeah.
Had my mind in a certain place. I always had an issue with some of the things that we did, the way we did it. And it's hard to be involved in people's details of being a crook every day.
Wow.
You run across people who are scheming, scamming, lying every day at very high levels, and over time it gets in your mind and it makes you tired and weary.
Sure.
So I was tired of that, and I knew I needed to find a way out. And when I left corporate, my mind was to get away from corporate, never go back, never have to go back, never have to think about it. So I knew when I made the move that I needed to make the right move at the right time for me and my household. So it was a sliding scale, corporate, part-time. It got to a point where it was even. Then I said, okay, can I take it to a point where I do photography all the time and corporate investigations not at all? And eventually it got to that point, but it wasn't overnight. It may have been a 5 or 6, 7 year process.
I love
it definitely
that.
Wasn't overnight.
I love that. And I hope for those of you who are listening, if you know someone who's in business, if you know someone who's aspiring to be in business, that right there, that's a wisdom nugget. That's the thing that I learned. That's the thing that he started off with. Okay. And the computer, this doggone Mac is giving we'll take it. Thumbs up. That's what I had to learn in so my story doesn't end with me leaving and launching out from ABC 3340. It doesn't end there. And I know we got the sounds of them making coffee. Because by the way, we're at Filter Coffee Parlor on Birmingham South Side. And we love it here. We love their coffee. We love their apple juice, whatever it is that you want. They've got some. And they've got some, hey, there's my friend. They're one of the neighborhood presidents. And they've got some other little treats. If you want to come here and have a nice little brunch, it'd be nice for you to come here as well. But we're talking business and moving from employee to entrepreneur. So not asking you to do anything, but like and share the video. That's how you help us. There was a second side to my story. Mm-hmm. So there's the wrong way I did it was back in 2004 when I left ABC 3340 with a hope and a dream and no plan. Yeah, this TV broadcaster. And and the better part of the story is, though, fast forward to 2020, I was working in corporate America. Mm-hmm. And I, too, became burned out. I loved my job. I loved what I was doing. But I think it was almost like a slow decline. Because there were no off days. And any of my public relations friends will tell you, there were no off days. We worked for a pretty high-powered, high-banging company. And
you work for a 24 hours, 7 day a week, 365 day a year company who is on every day, all day.
All the time. And so, oh my God, we got balloons. I've never seen that.
What was that?
It just balloons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever, you must have said something that excited the computer. I've never seen that before. But yeah. So it was not ever. So it turned out. I love my position. I love the people there. You'll never hear me say anything about oh I just hated my job. It's just at that point in my life, I think the stress. You reach a threshold where the stress and there are other priorities in your life that take precedence over working hard, being on call all the time, not having the time that you want to really gather your thoughts. I'm friendly. I'm a media person who I'm always and I'm accommodating. I'm always going to be accommodating for you. And so I had great and still do have great relationships. But again, I just had to make some decisions because there was no such thing as on Friday you leave work at work and you're good. No, you carry that work over through the weekend and you start right back up. And let's not talk about getting into storm seasons. Let's not talk about overnight storms and you're working overnight and you don't get any sleep and you go back the next day and you've got to put a full day of work in and you've got to do your work in addition to specialized storm duty. It is and listen, that's my line of work. He talked about his line of work being burned out. But there comes a point. So that may be a pointer for you as well to get ready. So everything that I'm doing, I do with the opportunity to teach. Maybe time for you to get ready and consider another step if you're starting to get burned out. So people understand when it's time to leave. There's a way that you do it. Most preferably you do it when it's sort of sliding up. And I did that the second time around. By the way, I know this is time to go. I got my money in order. I got bills paid off, paid my car off.
It's okay to have a plan.
Say that. Help us out.
It's okay to have a plan. A dream and an idea is okay. But you need to have a plan. And I think that's one thing you can learn from working at corporate. Every corporation has a plan. Every corporation has a plan. That's one of the things I try to take with me from working for a big company. Have a plan and then have a plan to execute the plan.
My goodness.
So sometimes we jump out, we have no idea first what we're doing. We have no idea what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But then we expect to be successful.
That's right.
So how exactly does that work? I believe in faith. I even believe in miracles. But you still need to have a plan and put in work.
A plan doesn't hurt you.
Their plan does not hurt.
It doesn't hurt you.
We're looking for blessings from God, and they come all the time.
Oh, this is good.
But it's okay to help yourself.
This is good.
It's okay to help yourself. If we look back in the Bible, and if we still got the pastor on, I'm not quoting scripture. But if you know what I'm talking about, put it up there. So we look in the Bible, God always, when the bread came down from heaven, it came down, but they had to do a certain thing to get it. He told them that the promised land was over there, but they had to go to us. They had to go.
They had to move.
They had to move.
They had to do something.
They had to have a plan. So it's like we're waiting on the miracle.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
But the miracle is over there. We may need to meet the miracle halfway. What's the scripture, Pastor? If you take one step, he'll take two. Is that even scripture? That's something my grandma came up with.
That's something our grandmothers came up with. But on the Evolve show today is scripture.
If you take one step, he'll take two.
Yeah.
It's got to be a scripture that
kind of synopsizes that.
Maybe so. All right, Pastor. What you got, Pastor? We need help on this scripture.
Do you have a scripture for us? And then I'm thinking as we think about it, I think about the just shall live by faith, and faith meaning trust in God. You do something. Give me a minute. I'll come up with something that if you're willing and obedient, you'll eat the good of the land. Meaning, if you do what God tells you to do, you'll eat the good of the land. Give me a minute. I'm gonna come up with something for you.
Our grandmama said it good. They broke it down. We understand it. If you take one step, he'll take two.
Yeah.
And I've seen it over and over in my life, in my career. If I do a little bit of what I'm supposed to do, God will come and take me the rest of the way. That's the way my whole life has been.
That's good.
So I don't expect it to change.
That's good.
So I work it the same way in my business. When I get frustrated, when the clients are not coming, when the kind of clients I want are not coming, when people don't want to pay my rate, I do something. When things slow down, is especially when I do something. You have to do something so we can take those other two steps.
Okay, okay, this is good. Okay, walk us through that. Do something. Are you able to share what that looks like without giving away everything?
So
what does that
let's
practically
say
look like?
headshots and events slow down at the first of the year.
Yeah.
Which they do.
Yeah.
So events, headshots slow down. I could just sit there and do nothing, but that's not the good plan.
Yeah.
That's not how business should run. Even though the
That's good.
headshots and events are coming in slowly, I need to do something. I need to rearrange my studio. I need to start doing research on new editing, new looks,
Wow.
seeing what new businesses are coming into
Wow.
town so I can reach out.
Wow.
Make sure my equipment is up to date.
Wow.
Make sure I reach out to the people who have supported me up until this time. Send out emails, get on the phone and make calls, rearrange my studio, look at my lease, make sure my lease is good, make new connections.
You're doing something.
You have to do things.
So, because when you get into the crux and when you have all those clients, that's what I'm hearing, I'm visualizing. You don't have time to do that at that point.
You
don't have time, and that's how things get caught up, because we're focused, we're frustrated, and we're just kind of sitting and mulling in that. And what I'm hearing, my mind is thinking as you're talking. When you have that pause, God gives you that pause for a reason.
That pause is for a reason, because you need downtime. I need downtime. So during that downtime, I may take a few days to just relax, pay myself some attention, pay friends and family some attention, and do a little business. Then after those few days, I go back in on the business. I make sure my photography is good. If I had any ideas, I go in and work on those ideas. I have cool sounding things I need to do. I need to write the new cool sounding book. I need to find new outfits for cool sound. I need to do cool sounding videos.
Yeah.
So sometimes that downtime is for us personally, and it's also to do new things for our business, to rejuvenate, to refresh.
Mm-hmm.
So downtime is not always a bad thing if you look at it in the right frame.
That's good. Okay, so you mentioned Cool Santa.
Mm-hmm.
So can you walk us through? This is some rich conversation, y'all. I'm so glad to see y'all tuning in. Hey, this is Kisa with Evolve here with Antonio Boswell, and we are talking about moving from employee to entrepreneur, giving you a little shot of faith and some practical wisdom to sustain you in your businesses. If you are just tuning in, I would highly encourage you to go back and listen to some of the tips that he's sharing, because it will help you. He's a friend of mine, but I also ask him if I have questions about business and different things. I will ask him. I'm not too proud to say, Antonio, what do you think about this? What do you see? And I want you to tell people what it is that you do, because we really didn't cover that. You mentioned you kind of threw Cool Santa in there. What all do you do?
So my main thing is A Boswell Media. I specialize in photography and videography for mostly corporate events, headshots. My clients actually have started calling me the headshot champion.
Yes.
Because my headshots really work, and I think that's important. So I do the media. I also developed a character called Cool Santa.
Yeah.
He comes out around Christmas, and he's basically Santa Claus with a little bit more swag and coolness involved.
Santa with swag. That's a good way of putting
Santa
it.
with swag is basically what Cool Santa is. Cool Santa does appearances. He's done commercials with Max Salvation Army. I think Cool Santa was on Fox 6 last Christmas season, about every couple of minutes or so.
Yeah.
So Cool Santa is growing. My media company is continuing to grow. And that's basically what I do. I also do consultations. I'm pretty much out of corporate investigations, but I also do a few consultations still in that area on some old things that I used to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I still have companies that call and will ask me things to look at certain things, but those days are gone, and I'm 100% A Boswell Media and Cool Sound.
and we're sharing tips today. I want to speak to y'all. Hey, Tammy. Hey, girl. Hey. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, we are asking you all to like and share the broadcast. That's the only thing that we ask you to do, particularly for those of you who are interested in transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur, or if you're connected to someone who is interested in transitioning, or even an entrepreneur who's struggling right now. We want to give them a shot of encouragement, some motivation, and some wisdom on how to maintain, because y'all, we all, we're all going through the same thing in the business arena. Okay. And I'm going to just tell you, it is not easy.
No.
Okay. No. Okay, let's go with that right there. Why did you say no? Being a business owner, it's not easy.
And I didn't have to say it for me. I didn't have to say it for you because we already know. I'm saying it for the people watching, not just here, but for the people in the world who are watching. Especially now with social media, we make everything look so easy. Everybody wants to be a boss. Everyone wants to be a business owner. Everyone is a CEO, but it's really not that easy. So another reason we see so many businesses fail is because it's hard.
It is. It is.
And I'm not saying to not have a dream and to not believe that you can do it. You can do it, but you also need to know that it's hard. So when you look at people on social media, let's say us, for example, I don't know how it looks about what I do, but it's hard. I have to get up at a certain time every day. I stay up late. I worry, I stress, and then I have to work. So I don't like the fact that people look at social media and think things are going to be easy. So the first thing I'll do, I'll make it look worse than it is, because I need to balance the foolishness. I just need to balance the foolishness. Everybody is successful. Everybody is a CEO. Everybody is a millionaire. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true.
Lies.
Those are 100% falsehoods.
Yes.
And that's not my personal assessment. That's my assessment as a corporate investigator for over 26 years. And I was good at it. So some of these things you are seeing are false, and I have no problem with that for the person it's coming from. It's the people that are listening, the people who have dreams, the people who have aspirations, people who actually want to accomplish something. You're listening to and you're following the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Tammy's commenting and saying, she says, yes, it is. It's stress on another level.
Yes,
Yes,
it is, Tammy. The stress at corporate, and we both talked about the stress at corporate. There is stress when you run your own business, but there's a different kind of stress.
It is.
So at corporate, we know that most times somebody is going to have our back one way or another.
Yeah.
Even if we're focused on what we're doing, we know our check is going to come because there's a whole staff making sure that the checks come out.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to do everything. You
Everything.
have to make the coffee, you have to stir the soup, you have to take the pictures, you have to lay the shingles on the roof, and then you have to make sure you get the money. You have to make sure the money goes where it's going to go. So it's stress, but it's a different kind of stress.
It is.
So the stress doesn't go away. It's just a different kind of stress. And in all things, you have to learn how to handle that stress. But I think it's a lot more stressful because of how people think it's going to be when they get into it.
Absolutely.
They have a jaded view of how it's going to be. They may look at the entrepreneur and say, oh, he has all this money, he looks this way, and it sounds this way.
Dresses, free time.
They don't see the real background. They don't see everybody wants to be at the table, but you have to know what's going on under the table.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be in the room,
yes.
but they don't know what's going on in the walls of the room.
Yes.
So you need to do research. You need to talk to people who are credible, who are going to share their truth.
Yes.
If nothing else, just share their truth. Hey, hello, that guy.
Oh.
I did his first photo shoot.
Okay.
And he's an entrepreneur too.
Is he an entrepreneur?
He is.
This is what I love about Filter here. It seems like it's a hub for entrepreneurs. You see them passing by all the time. We've even invited people on that we've seen passing by to come on, walking by here, So love that. And Tammy, you say you understand that because it is making payroll, filling out tax forms, hiring, firing. She says, I understand. I did it all. Thank you for sharing that. And, let me just co-sign on what Antonio Boswell is saying and what Tammy is saying as well. It is probably one of the most challenging. Now here's the deal. I'm like a 30-year employee in some form or fashion. I started work when I was 15. Okay. So I'm a 30 plus year employee. So like you said, it's the safety and security net. If you don't get it quite right, if you have an off week, if you're just not feeling well, you have sick time, you have vacation time. Oftentimes when you are an entrepreneur, you don't really have that sick time. You don't have vacation time in the beginning. And for the first several years, I even think about Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki said, that he, for like 7 years, he went, and because we're trying to give you tips to really think about this if you're serious about being in business and staying, because a lot of people jumping out there, but staying in business. And he said for 7 years, he was not profitable. He did not make a profit. And he said, when people asked him, well, how did you do it? He said, I don't really know. But his career, he was a salesperson, I believe it was at IBM. And he said by being a salesperson, it taught him the art of not taking no for an answer. He would get up, he went out and he would go date. He said he would go on the dating scene at night. And he learned the process of failing faster.
From getting shot down.
Yeah. When he would come and ask women to date him and or go on a date with him. And he said, it was a curious thing. He said, so the more I asked women to date me and I would go hang out at the clubs and on the night scene, the more they would shoot me down. I became better in business because I didn't care anymore about the no's. If I had to tell you no sick time or vacation time when you run your company for several years, preaching to the choir. Come on, Tammy. You're helping us today, Tammy. I want you all to see this. If you're just tuning in, I want you to go back and listen from the beginning. This is wisdom that can save you from making a mistake. I jumped out there in 2004, didn't know what the heck I was doing. That was the wrong time. I came out in 2020. I had bills paid. I had money saved. I had access to capital. I had a plan. So I had no fear. Now you still go through a couple of courtship years when you have a couple of honeymoon years in business. But boy, the last year or two, it's gotten real. And I've had to really look at myself and say, is this what you wanted? You asked for it. Now, what are you going to do with it? You asked for it. Some of you are asking for it. Man, I can't wait. Man, I can't wait. I'm going to be my own boss.
So let me ask you this, Keisha.
Yeah.
This is my journalism part.
Because he's a journalism major too. Aren't you?
I am.
ASU?
I am. ASU.
Come
Alabama
on.
State University. Class of 95.
All right. Me too, but I was at UA. Class of 95. Come on, I'm listening.
So when you left corporate,
and
you finally left corporate that last time, how many times since then have you thought about or considered going back?
Several. Several. There have, and in fact, there have been times I have gone and gotten a side job and not really said, okay, I'm back working again.
Say that part again now.
Okay.
Say that part again.
There are a couple of times that I've gone back and I've gotten a job, okay? But I just hadn't said anything. And I made the decision, okay, I might need to do this for a little while and see how this goes. But here's what I found for me. This is not for everybody. So please don't, you have to understand your situation. You have to understand what God is saying to you. You have to understand how your household is set up. Okay. I don't have any children. So my children weren't hanging on the line.
Right.
I didn't, I had money saved. I had some things in place. So I had a safety net. But even with that, if I'm being honest with you, I went back a couple of times and got some jobs. Before 2020, I couldn't get fired.
Right.
Some people, their fear was getting fired. No, 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 no. I was trained to be a good employee.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
I couldn't
Yes.
get fired. They wouldn't fire me. I'm a team player.
Mhm.
I knew that. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been working since I've been 15, so I know the ropes of corporate. I started
That's
at
it.
Learner Shops in Montgomery. Shout out to Learner Shops. We were my first
Learners.
learners. 15 with a driving permit. This real talk, y'all. Trying to help somebody. Left corporate in 2020, crying and holding on to the side of my bed because I had a good job, making good money. You hear me? And I knew that I was one of the few making money in my field at the level I was. And so I'm crying. But I knew that I knew it was time to go. We won't get into all of that. But yeah, I've gone back several times. But here's what I have found. No, it doesn't happen overnight. Success does not happen overnight.
No.
Thank you for your tips, Tammy, because you're helping us and helping some people watching.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've gone back, gotten some part-time gigs.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing I see. Again, being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, running your own business is hard. It's okay if you don't jump out and do it full time the first time.
That's right.
It's also okay if when you get into it that you go back and do something else.
That's good.
Most of my friends who are entrepreneurs have
A job.
gone back, have a job. They may not talk about it,
Okay, right.
right?
That
They
part.
may not share it,
That
but
part.
they have a job. And why do they have a job?
That part.
Because life is not free. Yeah.
But when I when we jumped out and said we're going to be entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
Alabama Power
Did not care.
did not stop and
They
didn't care.
didn't send a check and they didn't care. They still sent that bill.
Yeah.
The water, the gas,
Yeah.
gas for your car note, your rent does not stop because you decide you want to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Bills still have to be paid.
Yes.
A lot of what you see is not true. So what it looks like someone else is doing may not be true. And it's dangerous to find out after you jump out there and try to do it. Reality will hit real quick. So listen, don't feel bad because you don't feel like your success is matching up to someone else's narrative. You may need to go get a job. That's fine. You may need to do something part-time. That's fine. You need to do what's right for you. You need to do what's going to let you survive as a person and what's going to let your business survive. If you need to stop your business for 30 days and 60 days and go and drive for Uber,
Do it.
you need to make that happen.
Do it.
You need to do that. You need to survive.
Do
you need
it.
to be able to keep moving. It doesn't matter what all these other people are saying. If it mattered what they were saying, they would have supported your business and you wouldn't have had to do it.
Who is it? Tabitha Brown, who was driving for Uber or something like that, who has become a sensation, and has retired her husband and all that kind of stuff. We all love and follow her. I had a good friend who brought me out of condemnation from that, and this was when I became a licensed realtor. Went back in 2021, took a course, became a licensed realtor. It was my second time because I'd actually gone through a course a couple of years before, preparing to leave corporate America. Okay. And so when I went through and I just thought, I'm not doing so great in this real estate arena. I felt like I should because I felt like I should be making 5,000, 6,000 a year because I got all these contacts. But guess what? That didn't happen. And I have a young lady. We really don't even talk as much right now, but she's a realtor. And she told me straight up, I thank God for people who are honest. And I thank God for her to this day. And she said, I had to go back and get a part-time job. I think she told me she worked it was some company here, but she said, I went back and worked a part-time job. She said, I don't advertise that, to people. But if you need to go and do that, go do it. Nobody is going to, and do you even have to tell anybody? So that's what I'm saying. You don't, like he mentioned Uber. Who knows if you're going to go and be and DoorDash or Uber? Who knows that other than you? You can DoorDash and Uber overnight hours or early morning. Who will know that but you? If you need to do what you need to do to still carry your dream and carry your baby, do what you need to do. And another thing that I thought about as you were talking, the power of pivoting. As business owners, if something that you're doing, I would be what you would call a serial entrepreneur or a multipreneur. There's several things that kind of roll around in my head as business ventures. I stepped out and did the real estate. I still have my real estate license. That ain't going nowhere. But as far as me going around and living to see my name on a sign saying I'm a realtor and I've sold this house, that didn't move. Still got my license over here. I can still help some people. The license isn't going anywhere, but I'm a communicator. I can make money at the drop of a hat by being a communicator. People hire me to go speak. They hire me to MC. They hire me to do certain. That's the back of my hand. I can do that. They hire me to voice over items.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it like the back of my hand. Let me go out here and get this easy money because this didn't really work right here. And let me keep this over here on the side. That's going to work too. And I don't feel bad about that. And I'm saying that to tell somebody you may have several business ideas, but if it doesn't work, what do you think about that? If it doesn't work, if it ain't working, part of your success and your happiness is admitting that and being able to pivot.
You have to be able to pivot, but I think the most important thing, you have to, one, be able to recognize the truth. Because how can you decide how to pivot if you don't know how to recognize the truth? And again, I always have to go back to corporate, because in corporate investigations, the most successful people that I've ever worked for, worked with, or come across all want to know the truth.
Mm.
Big companies, the most successful crooks, hustlers, scam artists, con men that I've ever come across had one thing in common. They knew the truth.
Wow.
And they used the truth in their manipulation.
Wow.
But they couldn't manipulate if the other people knew the truth.
Wow.
So a con man can't be successful if he doesn't know the truth. Because if he doesn't know the truth, he doesn't know how to manipulate you.
That's good. That's good. He's got to know truth in order to manipulate truth.
That's it.
That's a relationship tip too, y'all.
They said about the devil. Somebody, I'm not scripture now,
no,
but somebody said the devil knows the Bible too.
He got kicked out of heaven,
so he knows.
So he knew how to. The peculiar thing about him is the unique thing. When you're over the worship ministry, you're over a ministry that caters to, that knows how to get the ear and the heart of God.
Mm-hmm.
And this is me. This is Keisha paraphrasing. When you worship God, you are worshiping Him. You are telling Him who He is. You want to get His ear. You want to get His attention. You lead a specialized unit in heaven. And so you're so astute. You're so good. You're so specialized. You mistakenly think, I can do that. I know how to do what you do. Mm. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So what do you say? The manipulators know the truth.
And it goes back to truth. So if the manipulators and the scammers and schemers, the best ones, the successful ones, if they need to know the truth. Shouldn't we know the truth so we can know how to move? We should know the truth. The first truth we need to know is about ourselves. Why would I let my dream be to be a doctor when I know that the sight of blood is something I cannot handle?
That would be me.
Why would my dream be to be a window cleaner on that 20-story building when I know when I look at a picture of a mountain, my knees get queasy? There's nothing wrong with the truth. The truth. They say the truth will set us free, and it's true.
Yes.
You need to learn the truth about yourself.
Yes.
Know your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yes.
Capitalize on the strengths.
Yes.
Make your weaknesses better if you can.
Yes.
And the things you can't make better, find somebody who can do it and help you.
And partner with you. Imagine that.
Partner with you and make your strengths their strength. And me and Joe like it.
Yeah.
That's our story.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. I don't like to talk. I don't like to talk to people. If you don't speak to me, I'm fine. But how do I grow my business? How do I get people to know my name? Joe Lockett. Joe Lockett will not go in a room and not tell you his whole name.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So
he goes in the room and people are like to him.
Right.
They just know him.
By the time he leaves, they know his name.
They know his name.
They know what he does. They know what he wants to do.
I'm a witness.
So who better for me to associate myself with
Yes.
than somebody who gets the attention when they go in the room.
Yes.
When I go in the room, I really don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna still go in the room. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna be in the corner.
Yeah.
But every time he say Joe like it, he say balls.
Yes. Y'all are like brothers from another mother.
That's my brother. That is my
Y'all
brother.
are like brothers from another mother.
Gone through a lot business wise.
Yeah.
We created a lot together.
Yeah.
A lot personal wise.
Yeah.
I can truly say that is my brother. Never knew I would have ever came across a Joe Lockett ever in life.
Well, the thing about Joe Lockett is that, and people say various things about he and I and how we've connected in this season, but the thing I love about him is when Joe Lockett counts you as a friend or family member, man, he has a heart for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we made the decision, you get to a point, we're over 50, we're in the 50 and Fabulous Club. You don't really care what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't really care about all the chatter. Oh, what's going on with you and I. Joe Lockett and I have been friends for over 10, maybe even 15 years. Okay, back when he started his show, maybe even before. So we've been friends for a long time. If you saw me when I was back in my day at ABC 3340 on the news, you would have no problem with me anchoring with a Art Franklin or a Mark Prater or whoever the male newscasters were. But when Joe and I say we're going to do a podcast together, all this other stuff comes. But here's the deal: we don't care, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue to partner, because our story is the two are better than one. We're doing the same thing. Hey, bro, bring your platform. Hey, sis, bring your platform. Let's do this thing together. Okay, so that's it. And the rest of it, we keep it moving. But I will say about him is if to know him is to love him. When he is your friend and counted among his friends, he's gonna look out for you. And I will give him his credit for that. And a marketing genius too.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've talked about a whole bunch of stuff, and before I let you get out of here today, so you can go on and finish the rest of your day, this conversation has been good, so good. We've got some people on here who are hanging with us and listening to us. Can you believe the time is already gone? It's almost been an hour we've been sitting here talking.
Wow.
I told you 45 minutes, and we are over 45 minutes. But this is good conversation. But there's some people who tuned in and are hanging on. So I try to give them, when I see that, I try to give them their money's worth. Hey, can I have one of those drinks? Yes.
You too.
Okay.
You too.
Bye. His drinks look so good. I'm like, can I have one? And he just stopped. He said, you doing okay? Yes. Better if you give me one of those drinks, whatever you had in there. I know you're also over the chamber, the Black Chamber.
Yeah, Birmingham Metro Black Chamber of Commerce. I've been the president. I'm the 2024 president. Yeah.
Y'all, he sits over here and y'all think he's quiet, but he's packed with so much wisdom. There are a ton of business leaders here in Birmingham. And let me just say this publicly and say this here. It has been so challenging for me to get to one of those meetings, but you charge it to you don't charge it to my heart. I know you don't.
I don't.
Because it charge it to my head and charge it to the challenge of being able to do all that. Okay, Miss Tammy says her lunch is later. Bye, sweetheart. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Tammy.
Bye, Tammy.
I always appreciate your support.
Thank you for chiming in.
Yes, thank you. I know you don't charge it to my heart. Talk about the organization and who can connect and what you all do.
So Birmingham Metro Black Chamber of Commerce is an organization here in Birmingham, and basically we help people grow their business and try to sustain their business through any way that we can. Connections, information, and I think that's very important. The right information for the right people at the right time is very important. Again, there's a lot of information. I think we are in the super mega information age. There is no lack of information coming from anywhere. But the thing is that information right for you, not only for where you want to be, but for where you are. So as the president of the chamber, I try to make sure that we give various information to different levels of business, so you can not only survive, but you can get where you want to be. And we do that through seminars. We have training, we have consultations, we have connections to everyone who's in our chamber. Our chamber also has affiliates across the state. We have our state chamber. We have one in Huntsville, Mobile, Tuscaloosa, the Wiregrass. We have one in Gaston. So we're able to connect with different people from different areas with like minds and like goals. So right now our numbers are low, but honestly, I like that our numbers are low because we can get in and we can get more detailed and more focused on each member and exactly what they need, and we have the opportunity to get specific because general information is good. General information is very important because you need to build that foundation, but at some point you have to get specific based on you and not just where you want to go, but where you are. Because the same information that will help me where I am now and where I want to be may not be the same information that's going to help you. And a lot of times we get in these big rooms and the general information is good information, but as individuals, we need something more specific.
That's good because I've gotten to a point where I'm not as interested anymore in going to these meetings. People like you coming and sitting down and populating their meetings because it looks good to have more people there.
Oh, thank you. Fireworks. Fireworks. Who controls that? I like that guy. I love that guy.
I have no clue. Like this must be StreamYard. I don't know if it's something that we've done that we're getting. I mean, we got balloons earlier, but I am moving toward not wanting to necessarily go and not feeling bad if I don't go to the biggest meeting.
And I think that's part of the process. And first, let me say, there's nothing wrong with the
big meetings.
The big meetings with the general information. You need that. You need a strong foundation.
Yes.
It's like, and I compare it to college. You know, if you go to college, you have that 100 level course. You go to that 100 level course, and in some schools there may be 300 or 400 people in that course.
Absolutely.
You need those basics. But as you go on, things get more specific and the numbers go down. The information gets more detailed. By the time you're a senior, you get to that 400 level, there may be 5 or 6 people in that room.
That's right.
Information is different. So I'm not saying that the big mass meetings with all of the general information, you need that, but you also need to get specific at some point. That's what I try to do. I try to connect specific people with specific things because after a certain time, that general information doesn't help anymore.
What's your next event?
So right now, our next event is actually our state conference, which is June 20th and 21st. It's going to be over in Israel at the Tuxedo Ballroom. It's going to feature about 11 speakers whose names I can't remember right now. But we have speakers coming from all over the country. We have one coming from Maryland. We have a guy who owns a vegan restaurant. Is coming from Oakland. He's going to be one of our main speakers. We have a black woman who owns one of the only banks in America. And you can go to my page and check all these things out. So I was actually working on the promo. Is why I know who's going to be there. Good information about small business. Alabama State Black Chamber of Commerce.org.
Say that again.
ASBCC.org, Alabama State Black Chamber of Commerce.org. You can go there for more information. You can register. It's a 2-day conference, June 20th and 21st over in Ansley at Tuxedo Ballroom. We have 2 days packed full of information, not just basic information, but specific information from people who have experience in their areas. Again, we have a guy in that Chef Chu. Chef Chu is coming from Oakland. He's coming from Oakland right here to Birmingham. And he's going to tell about how he started his vegan food, how he came up with the concept, how he strategized and did testing on how to get the food, the right texture, the right taste. So it's almost like meat. I don't think I'm going to eat it, but I'm not eating. I need real meat. I have to have real meat. But we're going to welcome Chef Chu. We're going to have some good information. If you're thinking about a restaurant, thinking about starting a restaurant, who better to listen to than someone who has been successful at running a restaurant? And he's coming all the way from Oakland, so you're not going to be able to see Chef Chu every day of the week here in Birmingham. You need to come out, check him out, Alabama State Black Chamber of Commerce. Go to the website, more information, and you can register.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the comments. At asbcc.org. Okay. And how do people reach you?
You can reach me, aboswellmedia.com is my website. You can reach me there. Social media, Boswell Media, Uncle Bob's Media Specialist on Facebook. My number is 205-222-2133. If you need anything media-wise, video, photography, I also do consultations on how to build an effective brand, effective images, effective video. Everybody has pictures. Everybody has video. Not everybody pictures and video are helping them make money.
I think that's your quote.
That is my quote. I'm a cook. I like being effective. I like
Yeah.
being successful. My time in corporate, I had to be successful.
Yeah.
Everything I did in my media department
Yeah.
had to generate money. You could not lose money. It had to generate money.
Yeah.
And I'm not moving away from that. I'm not just taking pictures to take pictures. I'm not taking pictures for you to share with your friends and family. I'm
Yeah.
taking pictures for people who are in business, and you need those pictures and that video to provide a return on your investment. We're talking about business.
Mhm.
We're not talking about hobby. So you come to me, I don't care if you have fun.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have a good time.
Yeah.
We will have fun and have a good time when you start making that money.
And when you get paid.
When you get paid is when we're gonna have fun and have a good time. All
You're
right.
all about getting
So
paid.
let's take care of business. Let's do business.
Yeah.
Let's stop taking pictures for our friends and our family. That's fine. But if you're in business, that's a whole different thing. If you're just taking pictures for your friends and family, they can open Kmart back up. And you get the 500 pictures for $10.99 like I got when I graduated from college.
Okay.
You can get that and put it on social media and count the likes. I'm
Okay.
looking for people who are about business.
Wow.
All right? And
Wow.
you need something effective.
Wow.
You don't have to come for me for the pictures, but you might want to come to me for the concept. Some of your pictures look like
So what do they look like? So go ahead and tell it.
there's no return on the investment. I
Yeah.
can guarantee you made no money, you made no connection because of that picture you showed. You were over Photoshop, you don't look like you. You don't
Yeah.
look like you. People, and even in the back of their mind, do not trust you.
Wow.
It don't work like that. We're talking about psychology.
Wow.
There's a psychology to images. The image is right there, Keisha. That image says something. Look at that smile. Look at that.
I'm gonna show them specifically this image. Y'all, it's almost like if you take this opportunity away from me to do this, it's like you're taking candy out of a child's mouth. I love to share the screen. I love to kind of work behind the scenes. It's just fun.
Mhm.
This is the image. That's my friend from urbanham.com. We actually went to UA together. I don't know if you've ever met him. Have you ever met Ivor Jefferson? I was on his podcast yesterday, and it was really great. It's intravenous. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was really. I mean, I shouldn't say surprised. I mean, I was known here, but we went to school at UA together. So that's when we first met over 30 years ago. Many of you don't know that, but this is a picture that Uncle Boz took of me, and I shared that with him. I just happened to get some shots done. I love you. He won't be offended by it, but and take a look on the page for the podcast that we talked about yesterday, life coaching of all things. But just wanted to show the picture of the work that he does, and that's a smile. But I think the thing about you is you know how to capture, and not just me, because I've seen this work with other people too. He knows how to capture what is authentically you.
Yeah, it's all about telling a story, and I feel like the story should be authentic. Now, if you choose to go with an unauthentic story, you need to stick to it. So the goal is for there to be a return on the investment. And I did say some things a little while ago, and I'm going to stick by it. But you have to understand what your goal is. When I say return on investment, a lot of people's investment and the return they're looking for is really not about money. Some people just want attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people want fame and attention, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you want those pictures to tell a story, they're going to lead to money. That picture needs to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And anybody out there who wants to challenge me on that, I will accept that challenge.
I love it.
I'll accept the challenge.
I love it.
Show me your picture. Tell me how I made money.
I hear that.
I'm not scared.
I hear that.
I'm not scared.
Because
I'm authentic. I'm authentic and real. I
Yeah.
have no need to be scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So challenge. Show me your picture. Tell me how I made money. And then you're going to have to prove it. Remember, I'm an investigator. You got to prove it.
You can't just tell him that you're making money. You got to prove it to him.
You can't prove it. I still can make some calls. We can probably get it proven.
You are wilding out.
Oh, it's time
you are
to go.
wilding out. I
It's
know,
time to
right?
go.
So it's time to go. No, this has been fun, man. I was just showing you the picture that he took. I had some headshots, but not headshots. They're life shots done recently because you don't just do headshots. You do. I just told him, I said, I need a makeover. I'm different now. There was a time I was.
We had to tell your current story.
My current story.
And to tell your current story, we had to get you to see another truth.
That and one of the things that I told you, I remember, I said, Boz, I said, for years I've been stuck in this. I was a newscaster. I said, Boz, I'm not a newscaster anymore. I said, that was my former life. I'm a podcaster, life coach. That's where I am. I'm a coach. That's where I am. So,
and the story a coach would tell is different than the story a newscaster would tell. The body language is totally different. When you think of a newscaster, you're thinking sitting up straight and everything is prim and proper, but you don't necessarily want your coach to be that stiff. So it's the same with the images. If you look at that image, how you're relaxed, your shoulders are, your head. Remember I told you to tilt your head?
You always tell me to tilt my head.
Head tilt softens things up. It gives a more warm and relaxed look, a more warm and relaxed feel. And that's what you need if you want someone to coach you the way Keisha coaches. So just random images, you can do random images, but are they going to work? Are they going to give you a return on the investment? Are they going to tell a story? You need to tell the story to make the connection. The connection is what's going to get you to the money.
And because this is a funny story. This is how I always took my photos. My arms crossed here in the front.
And all that, again, it's psychotic. All of that is tight.
It's tight. That was my background, though. Tight, formal. I had to stand here and you see that I was an authority.
That's it.
Because that's what I had to be when I was a newscaster. Well, I'm a coach. I don't have to convey authority. I want to convey approachable, being approachable.
That's it.
Okay, and being compassionate, because that's what I am. And I have just determined that was the past. And this, what you're seeing on the screen, is today with the life coach, KeishaSharp.com. My friend, I'm going to let you close us out by telling everyone how they can contact you. I have your part of the information on the screen, asbcc.org for the Alabama
State Black Chamber
of Commerce.
And you can go there and see what's going on with the conference June 20th, 21st. My website is aboswellmedia.com. You can go there. You can see some of my work. You can contact me there. I specialize in corporate headshots, corporate events. If you need a concept for some effective images, effective storytelling, hit me up. I'm ready to work. I'm about results and being effective.
And if you need a cool Santa for this fall, he's
Cool Santa. CoolSanta.com. Cool Santa has a book. Cool Santa is currently writing his second book. So be ready for the Christmas season. If you need a cool Santa for your events, Cool Santa comes and reads to kids at schools. He's all about literacy.
Yeah.
Cool Santa is a little bit different than the Santa that you're used to. He has a certain swag. He wears blazers, ascots,
sunglasses,
aviator shades.
Aviator shades, not sunglasses. Aviator shades. There is a difference.
Aviator mirrored shades.
Aviator mirrored shades. Okay, put some respect on it.
Yes, and I have to say that and show that because it's part of the copyright.
Interesting. Branding is part of your official branding of Cool Santa. So he is a whole media powerhouse. I love it. There's so much wisdom whenever we sit here and talk, and I try to be able to share, because this is my passion. In addition to coaching people, it kind of runs the gamut of coaching people in all areas of life. So entrepreneurs, hold your head up. So that's how we contact you. Close us out with this piece of advice. For people who are stuck, who need to know what to do, who are discouraged right now in their business, what would you share?
One of the most important things is knowing who to listen to. There's a lot of information out here coming from all kinds of places. You need to check the information. You need to check the people, because sometimes we can listen to the wrong people. So one of the most important things in business and life, figure out who you need to listen to.
That's good. And I'm going to let that be the closing comment. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuning in later to the broadcast, I want you to go back and listen to it because he gave some great information on what you need to be encouraged and to remain encouraged in business. I am Kisa with Antonio Boswell, and this is Evolve. Y'all have a great Friday. Oh, and it's Memorial Day weekend, so we'll see you all.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. Y'all be safe and y'all get some rest, okay? Even if you're business owners. Talk to you later, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.